morning, DriveTime. Welcome back. This week, we have a treat. We have a brother of mine that we've had the opportunity to work together professionally for years, work around each other, antagonize each other as brothers frequently do. But what he doesn't know I'm about to say is that he helped change my perspective on something. And, the Bible tells us we are supposed to look different than the world. And fairly early on in my faith journey, Scott had the opportunity to be present a couple of times as I made reference to going to church, and someone in the room would say, "Oh, you go to church?" And I remember after the second time that happened, and Scott sat there laughing at the fact that this person was surprised that I went to church. I pulled him aside and I'm like, why is it that everybody is so surprised? Why is it that people hear me make reference to church and they're surprised to hear that I go to church? And he, lovingly sat down with me and was willing to give his 2 cents about why people were surprised. And it helped me realize that, I looked a little too much like the world in those days, and I sounded a lot like the world. And that is why the world was surprised that I had this other life. So whether he knows it or not, he does now, that he played an integral part in really forming the way that I try to go through my day-to-day life now, where, I'm glad that people know that I go to church before I ever mention it. So with that being said, I want to introduce to you guys, again, a friend and a brother of mine, Scott Lineberger. Scott,
hey,
welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, first off, thank you for the kind words. And it was it was never anything that I would expect. I'm just here to help as I can as I go through. Basically, when we started talking, you talked about, well, let's talk about what things happen. What do you do in your journey? And I want to start off by saying I'm just a regular guy. There's things about me that if you look at me, you're like, well, where's he at? Well, I'm either at work, I'm at home, or I'm at church. That's about the only 3 places I go. The other exceptions, you might find me out on my boat. But other than that, I just try to get through things and live the best life I can, and try to live a life that my family will be proud of, and one that always honors God. And I'm not a missionary. I'm not a pastor. I'm just some regular guy that wants to tell people that, I'm happy in life, and I'm, regardless of what happens, what the world's going on through now, I go home and I can lay my head down at night and enjoy life. I don't think that just comes, directly from the world. I think that comes from a deep-founded belief that God is here to make life better for us. And when we realize that life is good, when we compare ourselves to other people, we have it really, really good. As I'm coming to you from my back porch on this, hot summer day, I enjoy sitting out here and just enjoying everything that there is to see. But it doesn't come without problems. It doesn't come without questioning. It doesn't come without other things that are present in the world. And most often, one thing I hope to portray to everybody else is, I'm going to use the term consistency. I want people to think of me the same way for everybody I meet. And I hope that my demeanor, what I get across to people, I hope that comes across as one of a godly demeanor. That's, there's nothing that I consciously think about day to day saying, well, yes, I've got to do this to make people think about this. I think it's just a lifestyle that I've encompassed pretty much because I've seen other aspects of the world and seen what people do and see what people think. And it all goes back to consistency. And I'll boil it down to this. Have you ever had a friend or a coworker or somebody else that you had to introduce a friend to? And before you introduced that friend, you had to kind of clarify who this guy was before you meet. You have to give a background before you actually meet him. And, well, he's kind of this way, and you got to kind of be prepared for this, and you got to be kind of prepared for that. And then when they meet him, they already have this preconceived notion of what to expect. I see that a lot. I see a lot of people go, well, you know, he's kind of a jerk until you get to know him. He's kind of this way, but you'll come around. And I don't want people to say that about me. I'm not the judge of me. Other people will judge me, and I expect that, and I'm okay with that. But there's only one thing that I'm trying to attain, is that's the acceptance of God, and the continual path to be more like him, more like Jesus. And I just hope that when people say, hey, you know what, we're going to meet up with Scott, people are going to go, you know what, just meet him. You'll like him. You'll like to talk to him. Again, nothing I consciously think about day to day, but I hope that the consistency in my life portrays that to other people, where they don't have to qualify or clarify anything before they meet me. And it goes back to when you have to clarify somebody before you meet them, you'll automatically have this thing in your head, this thing that you have to think about, well, what's he going to be like? And my question is, it's a rhetorical question, of course, is that if you have to clarify before you meet somebody, hey, this is how he is, and this is how you have to meet him, what kind of qualities do you think that person possesses deep down? If you have to basically qualify somebody before you get to meet them, instantly you go to mind, well, what kind of life does he lead? And is it one of, well, he's this way at work, and he's this way at home, and or he's this way when he has a bad day, he's this way when he has a good day? If you have to wonder what the guy's going to be like, or the girl is going to be like from one day to another, you got to ask, does he have deep-seated values that are biblically based? Now, I'm not saying that a new believer has to change their lifestyle. I'm not saying that somebody that's been going to church for as long as they can remember has to change anything. I'm just saying, think about it deep down. What do you think people would say about you? And when it goes back, are you consistent in what they would say about you? When you meet somebody, do people automatically associate you with whatever you do in life? If you're a boat captain, if you're a mechanic, do people associate you with just your job and not know anything else about you? So any question they ask, it has to be something related with work. If you're a firefighter and you talk to anybody, every question they ask is associated with firefighting. So do people associate you with the job that you do? And if they do, are you living a consistent life that people know you outside of what you do? And that doesn't necessarily mean work. For instance, if you're at church and you go to church every Wednesday, you go to church every Sunday, you participate in DriveTime, you do all these things consistently, people are going to associate you with that. And you don't have to say anything. You don't have to go out and win believers, because hopefully your actions will be something other people will want to emulate. I don't consciously go out every day to work and say, I'm going to win over believers. I'm going to change people. I truly believe I want to change people's lives for the better. But I want people to see what I do and go, you know what? He may be a little quirky, but that's something I want to be a part of. I want to be kind of like him, not because of me, but because of what people see that hopefully I portray. Again, I can't be the judge of that. Other people have to be the judge of that. So with that said, what do people tell others about you? I'm hoping that they tell others that, you know, hey, this is a good guy. You can, you know, I'd like you to meet him. Nobody has to feel awkward around me. Nobody has to feel that they have to act a certain way when they're around me. That's just my decision, you know, what I'm trying to get across. Again, I can't judge me. It's up to everybody else to judge me. And when you judge other people, which we say we shouldn't, but we do. Let's be honest. When you have an opinion about somebody, when you judge other people, I hope people go, you know what, that's a good guy. I hope that's somebody that, you know, he's good. I like to be around him. I'm going to give a Bible quote real quick, a Bible verse that is pretty prevalent. You guys have all heard this before, but 1 Thessalonians 4 verse 12. Then people who are not believers will respect the way you live, and you will not need to depend on others. Real simple. Respect the way you live. How does that boil down to every day? People will respect the way you live. And for me personally, and I can't talk about anybody else, I can't talk about what others are considered. I can only talk about me. It boils down to, for me, contentment. You know what? I drive an old car. I live in the same house I've lived in forever. You know what? I'm happy every day just to have that. I enjoy it. I enjoy my family. I enjoy being with them. I enjoy all of these things. And for me, again, I'm not looking for the next fancy car. I'm not looking to get a bigger house. I'm not looking for the next promotion. Those things are nice. I would totally enjoy them in life. However, am I willing to give up happiness for that? Am I willing to give up opportunity costs? You know, I get that brand new car. Well, you know what? Now I can't go out to dinner with my family. It's little things like that that I think about boil down to, you know what? Yeah, I drive an old car. But when it's time to go to dinner, I get to spend time with my family. And for me, that's what makes me happy. Basically, boil down and ask another rhetorical question is, do you think people who are not consistent in life are happy? Do you think people that are constantly looking for the next new car, people that are constantly looking for the bigger house, people that are constantly looking for the promotion, that are constantly, do you think that they're truly happy when it boils down to it? Or are they looking for something in their life that will fulfill that lack of happiness? And, you know, for me, when I go to church, I'm happy. You know, I volunteer at my church quite a bit, and it's almost like a job at this point. But you know what? I'm happy when I go there. I'm happy to see people. I'm happy to talk. I do my thing, and I'm happy. Does it take time out of my life? Yes, but it's enjoyable, and it makes me happy to go there. Like I said at the beginning, there's 3 places you'll probably find me: work, home, or church. That's about it. But those are the things that I'm content with and I'm happy with. Again, I'm just pouring out my heart to you guys because this is how I feel. And it's not for me to say, this is what you need to be like. I'm just telling you, this is how I am. And you know what? It's an enjoyable thing. But another question, have you ever thought, if I just have that next new car, if I just have that next bigger house, if I just, you know, had that one more thing, would I be truly happy? And it goes back to the last time you said that, when you know what, that next new car is going to make me happy. Well, here you are 5 years later with that new car that was going to make you happy that you're complaining about. Did it truly make you happy in the long run? So with that, I say, don't look for things that are going to make you happy in the short run. Look for things that are going to make you happy in the long run, the things that will last forever, the things that will continue on in life, not the things that'll wear away and that the thief can steal, kill, or destroy. Think about things that are truly going to make you happy in the long run. Again, for me, the house that I've been in forever, the car that I've driven forever, makes me happy because I try to think about my family and the time that I spend with them, and my friends and the time that I spend with them is more valuable. The time that I go to church, the time that I spend with God is more valuable than things like that, than possessions. Throw another verse at you here. 1 Timothy 6 verse 8. So if we have enough food and clothing, let us be content. Luke chapter 3 verse 14. What should we do? Asked some soldiers. John replied, don't extort money or make false accusations, and be content with your pay. Now that's probably going to be the hardest thing for us to get over, because we always think, well, if I just had that bigger paycheck, if I had that extra, that promotion that gets me that extra money, if I just work that overtime, then I'm going to be satisfied. Let me throw this at you. Are you truly going to be satisfied? Is that time that you spent working overtime going to make you happier than the time that 8 or 10 hours? Is that going to make you happy than the time that you spent with your family, or spent together, or spent at home? And I'll just ask you this. Basically, are you searching for something that is unattainable? Happiness is a personal value. It's something that you interpret, and that it's a feeling that you have. And are you searching for an object or something that is unattainable? Do you think an object, including more money, will make you happy? I'll boil it down with this quick story. I have a friend of mine that I worked with for many years. I respect immensely. And he left a huge career, benefits for life, the fantastic career. And he left to be a missionary. Well, I'm still friends with him. I still go to church with him, talk to him. And I said, you know what? I wish I had faith like you to be able to just, give it all up, this future and this unknown, so that I could go be a missionary too. And he said to me, God put you in the place you need to be. What really sent it home for me, and it kind of brings an emotion out for me now, is that he said, all those years that I was talking to you, what you brought to the table helped me gain enough confidence to be a missionary. And he said, because you were put in the place where you were put at the time, that helped me with the decision that I left, that I could leave and go be a missionary. And that really hit home for me, because I'm nobody. I'm just some guy that happens to, want to live a certain way and be friends with certain people. And it never really affected me, or it never really dawned on me that I had a profound effect in his life because of how I carried myself at work. And then what Dave said earlier, again, I had no idea. That was a shock for me when he started out. I had no idea that just what I'm doing on a daily basis had a profound effect on other people at work. It's humbling. It's truly humbling. If I could get a message back to you, I'd just say this is me saying that my quote is, be content and consistent. By you being here, you have a better life than most people. So be the reliable person that God wants you to be. I'll leave you with this from Proverbs chapter 13, verse 17. An unreliable messenger stumbles into trouble, but a reliable messenger brings healing. Again, that's my little tidbits of what I believe, and hopefully that I can get across to you. Don't take my word for it. This is just my perspective and my view. And hopefully if I've, helped, I'm grateful. And just being here, I'm humbled and honored to be able to spend just a little bit of time with you. So thank you.
Well, I mean, that's all really great. And we're blessed to have you here. And I'm just sitting here looking at, things I jotted down while you were talking. And, all I'm hearing is just this idea that, consistency is going to help fuel contentment in our lives. And so let me ask you this, because, being that this is a drive time video, we love leaving guys with a tangible thing. If there was one small change that you could recommend that the guys take this week, one small decision that they were to make, what would that be that would take them one step closer to becoming consistent or becoming content in their environment? What would that one step be?
One tangible thing that I wish that everybody could look at and realize, well, first off, you, by your everyday, everything you do every day makes a difference in somebody's life for the good or the bad. So the tangible thing that I could say is when people look at you, do they see a godly man, or do they see somebody that they want to not emulate, that they want to be away from? So when you go throughout your day, the simplest thing, like when your coffee is cold, instead of raising a big stink about it, simply realize that, well, you know what, maybe the coffee's cold, and let me go make a new cup, and be content that I have coffee in my hand. When you're running late for work, and I'm sure a lot of you will agree with that guy that's driving slow in the fast lane and holding up traffic, that you're behind him screaming and hollering, realize that, you know what, maybe that guy is in that lane for a reason. And, maybe if I slowed down and just relaxed and enjoyed life a little more, maybe I could lead to be a little bit more content. But that tangible thing is when you get mad, when you think, even though you're mad deep inside, I've been there, down deep inside, you just want to explode. Realize that, you know what, maybe things happen for a reason. God will work in his own time. And unfortunately, it doesn't always jive with our time. So that tangible thing, slow down. Don't get in a hurry. When you're mad, realize that, you know what, I may be mad now, but this madness is not going to last forever. It will go away eventually.
That's good. That's good. Hey, Scott, I just want to say thanks again for taking the time to be with us this morning. Thanks for being a part of my journey and the journeys of other guys, just through, who you are and the way you do go through life. So, gentlemen, until next week, we'll see you again here on Drive Time. And Scott, thanks for being here.
Thank you all.